A Singaporean team, after besting two of APAC's finest opponents against the home crowd, Australians of Wildcard. It all starts here on Clubhouse in this best-of-3 series to determine which team will take first seed heading into Tokoname. And both of these teams have also qualified for the Six Invitational. Ewok, can we just take a moment to embrace these teams and the success that they have created for themselves today?
It does feel really good to see teams that have struggled so much, that have put in so much effort. They finally have their efforts pay off. And, well, there's no better feeling than seeing an underdog story on both sides of the bracket. None of these teams were the favorites to make it through.
That's exactly right. The underdog Singaporeans versus the underdog Aussies. We couldn't ask for a better outcome here in this LAN event. The Underwolves. whatever you want to go. The undercut? No, that's not going to work.
The under K9s.
I'm just going to dismiss that and start talking about this operator ban phase we saw. Wildcard, they got rid of Monty out of the gates. Montaigne, we've talked a lot about this weekend. Fnatic coming up against Aerowolf, banded on every single map that they played. And Norengo did not ban that Monty quite so much.
The first map.
Yeah, they didn't ban it quite as much. They had to face it, and they got pretty frustrated, and they're like, nah, this isn't working. We're just going to ban that
And
Monty.
they got one more round.
Yeah, exactly. So I like this from Wildcard, but we've seen that banning that Monty... I mean, Aerowolf, they're so good with the Monty, but if you don't ban it, they're so good with everything else. We talked about that Capital on their Clubhouse game last time they played it against Fnatic, and how much of an impact that had. So Aerowolf will absolutely be utilizing that Capital to its fullest effect. The pressure is really on Wildcard here to give us a good show.
Indeed, it feels weird to be saying this, but Aerowolf are the favorites for this matchup. And right now they're starting off on attack. Yes, Clubhouse is a defender-sided map. But as we saw against Fnatic yesterday, well, they don't really care, do they? I think it was a 3-3 half.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of shake-ups in terms of the side favorites. It's very difficult to make just an overall generalization call, but let's take a look over at Neophyter. He's peeking through the pool table window, wants to start this match on his terms and get aggressive onto Aerowolf. He'll throw a camera out and decide to lay off that spawn peak. Also to note, he was using that Cloud9 uniform and a weapon skin for Valkyrie.
Cloud9.
Yeah, unfortunately they were knocked out by Norengo, but lovely to see all of these teams, Norengo, Wildcard, Aerowolf, Cloud9, they have such support for each other, and that's something that I just want to send home about the APAC region, always looking out for each other.
Neophyter taking so much damage, he still wants to take this aggressive gunfight, and well, early on it looks like that is the game plan for Wildcard, to turn on the heat over on Aerowolf, because right now they haven't faced that kind of, unbridled aggression yet in both the matches they've played. I've been talking about how the upper bracket was actually quite the better bracket for Aerowolf because they can prepare for them. And Lunametal is going to take down Neophyter, immediately traded back by Ethan. But yes, this aggression perhaps will pay off.
And it's a huge pick because it's the Capital and the Zephyr, both of the operators used to counter that bandit trick, which means Emo Rin will pretty much be able to bandit trick without any kind of contest. That is two of the best picks that Wildcard could have opted for. Somehow, I believe there was one of the walls. I think that was... Oh, no, I think that was actually the garage wall opened up. Oh, what is this aggressive peek? Ethan, he might just secure it as well. Thermite down. This is absolutely looking great for Wildcard. Aerowolf just have Speakeasy and Hysterics left to pick up the pieces on this attack of Cash.
Now they can definitely do it in the game against Norengo. Ooh, they're going to start it off, surely. Against Norengo, 4 of the members got a positive rating, I think above 1.0, and 3 of them got a KD of over 4. So, well, Speakeasy though, he's going to go down. It's just a 1v3 for Hysterics. Not much he can do without Diffuser as well. He does have the time. Now, looking up the stairs, there are smokes that are going to choke him out. Not much he can do, really. His position's given away. They clearly know where he is. Perhaps some exit frags. His padded stats.
He's going to bait some picks. Derp looks to peek that, but smartly not going to push the angle just yet. 30 seconds, so there is in theory enough time for Hysterics to clutch this, but it'll have to be a miracle. Diesel ain't gonna let that happen. See you later, Hysterics, and the Aussies start off strong here in the first round.
Very important to have traded out that opening kill, and even better that they got it against Capital, and of course following that up with the Zofia. As you said, these picks are oh so important. That wall being closed meant that Aerowolf could not freeze the defenders. They were allowed to rotate however they wanted. Catwalk control was still well and truly in favor of Wildcard. Derpe just sitting there the whole round, not really needing to have any impact at all. So well done to Wildcard. They come out of the gates with a lot of aggression, and Lunamel just being given some pause right away. Aerowolf have not faced that just yet. Even against Norarengo, a team that you'd expect to bring that, that's because they prepped a lot the whole of yesterday night for Norarengo. For Wildcard, well, a few hours of prep, that's about it.
We did mention that Wildcard would be coming straight off their victory in their previous match against Cyclops. Not a lot of time to prepare. However, it's a double-edged sword because on the other hand, Wildcard are completely warmed up and ready to get this game on the road. Aerowolf, they'll have to take some time to warm up. They didn't really get much time on stage to prepare their, do some warm-ups and that kind of thing, whatever they feel like they need to do. So Wildcard start off quite strongly, and we may well see that continue. As they defend now the basement objective, that's Church and Arsenal Room, after a successful win onto Cash, and it looks like they'll have quite a heavy roam. A lot of information operators, the Mozzie and the Valkyrie. As well, on top of all that, we have the Alibi. Looks like that's to hold Cash Room. Quite unorthodox on this specific bomb site. Diesel does spot out the one player, that's Mentalist on the Zephyr, and smartly Diesel decides to get on out of there. Both of these players not wanting to take too many risks, not overcommitting to the gunfights.
So they are bringing the Thermite and the Hibana. This double hard breach setup is something that they really like. Neophyte is down inside of the garage. Not sure if he's going to be able to be picked up. I think he's just going to be left alone. Lunamel just baiting it out. I think, oh, Emorin is coming up. Oh, that was so lucky. If Emorin had been a bit quicker, he would have lost his life. But he's going to lose it anyway. Speakeasy coming up with a nice double kill. And now, this time around, it's Aerowolf in the driver's seat with still 2 minutes left to go.
Big risk taken by Wildcard, and currently they're falling apart. As I said, this is a basement defense, and not one of these kills so far has gone out on that basement floor. Everything so far has occurred on the roam, and Diesel wants to keep that up. He doesn't want to default back to site yet. He knows Aerowolf have enough time that if he did so, they would completely overwhelm the bomb site in a 5 versus 2. So currently, Derpe is the only man on the objective to delay time from Wildcard. Diesel going to do what he can on the room. He finds one. Now his position will be called out. Let's see what he can do to assist his teammate. Completely separated. He'll have to use the information from Valkyrie cameras and hack drones to see if he can make anything work. Derpe has a call, but he can't land enough shots. He does get the injure onto the player trying to defuse. Now that might give enough time for Diesel to go down the flank.
Now he is coming down. The information is perfect. That's fantastic from Diesel. He has pulled this back. He's going to get pushed from blue, and Speakeasy gets a triple. So now it's all up to Derpe. He only downed one. He did a lot of the job for Diesel. The pings are coming out. The information is so good from Wildcard. That's why Diesel didn't really care that it took long. And they fall off the plant. This is enough time for them. But oh no, Derpe, he can't do it. And thankfully for Aerowolf, they are able to hang on. And really, it looked like Diesel and Derpe together had won that. The information game from Wildcard was so brilliantly good.
That's exactly right. The info meant everything. Valkyrie cameras, Mozzie drones, the Evil Eyes as well on the objective really enabled those 3 kills we saw late in the round from Wildcard. And unfortunate to see them not be able to pull that off, but it's a nice sign from Aerowolf. We did talk about, I hate this word, the T word, but throw. We talked about how Aerowolf are a team that do let those leads slide when they do have them in their advantage, and it looked like for a second we might see a return of that, but no, fortunately for Aerowolf, they regain that composure and reach an equilibrium here on the round count 1-1.
Lunamel is still as serious as it can be, and look at that, very, very chatty players. So they are using this time to their advantage, you know, the downtime between each round where you have to pick and everything. Hysteric looks a bit stressed, but, well, it's all right. He just got a very nice clutch. So 1-1, the score stands between Aerowolf and Wildcard. Wildcard, obviously, you know, based on the stats, they haven't had the best of time on the basement defense and Clubhouse. The most one bomb site is upstairs on cache and CCTV, so fair enough. The statistics do back up what just happened. But now moving on, we are going to have a decision for Wildcard to make. Do we repeat basement? Do we go to gym bedroom?
Gym bedroom is an objective which is picked quite a lot in ANZ, which is obviously the region that Wildcard comes from. They're very much used to playing that, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see Wildcard pick that bedroom bomb site and try to force that issue rather than staying downstairs. They've already revealed their roam strategy, and Aerowolf, I think, are starting to read into that aggression that worked in round number 1 for Wildcard. Yeah,
so that was a tactical pause from Wildcard Gaming in round number 2. That's a surprise for me. Very early on, I'm surprised that Silex, or I don't know who took the tac pause, but nothing really of note has happened in this game so far. Just 1 round loss, and there we go. Gym and bedroom, the next bomb site selected. So Silex probably just going over some additional notes last minute, or one of the players calling something.
They just needed a moment to talk about things. There's a huge risk though. We're only 2 rounds into the game. Yeah. Calling that tactical timeout, you only get 1 per map. So Wildcard aren't able to use that to shift the tide later on in the round, in the this map rather. It is indeed Aerowolf's map pick, so we would expect them to have the advantage, but Wildcard, they're no chumps on Clubhouse, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a serious fight here. They just need to start to diversify their playstyle, their strategy. They went out of the gate going hyper-aggressive, and it got them a lot of cheeky picks very early on at the start. That second round, though, it was punished incredibly well by Aerowolf. So Wildcard, just diversify that strategy, try something a bit different, and that should work quite well, I hope.
Yeah, they're very close to making this a consistent game plan against Aerowolf. Of course, little prep makes that hard. Oh, I thought Mentalist was going to fall, but Ysera is the one down. That's a long angle, I believe, from Neofighter through the drone hole. And luckily for Aerowolf, they don't lose that thermite right away because they've made that wall opening a lot harder. Imorin's going to be going for the bandit trick now. Something we saw yesterday from Aerowolf, they were so poor at the bandit trick themselves. And on the flip side, it was Xavier Esports who was very bad at denying the bandit trick from Wildcard. So that's probably why Imorin has so much confidence going for the bandit trick, and now he's just going to fall off. He's done his job, he thinks, and the wall's going to get opened up. Good time being made by Aerowolf, but of course the health is not in their favor.
But they have got that first step of opening the wall. However, that is not the objective. They still have to take into cache itself, and with a lot of time already wasted, I think Wildcard have got to be pretty happy with this so far. They have 3 players invested into cache. If Aerowolf read into this, they may well focus heavily onto that objective side, refrag the players on site, and as long as they can prevent that rotation through connector, or construction, connector, whatever you want to call it, back onto the objective, things may well work out.
He's gonna die.
This bandit is very much ready to trick that, and unfortunate for Ysera, not sure why there was nothing presented by Aerowolf to prevent that bandit trick. Was it just the missed Zephyr charge? You have to have 2 Zephyr charges worked in tandem to completely deny that bandit trick, and unfortunately just not quite on the money for Aero.
Yeah, so Mentalist and Speakeasy kind of going MIA over there. Speakeasy we saw yesterday, he wasn't great with his EMPs, perhaps not an operator he's too used to playing. And Derpy, he's going to get very aggressive over here. He can definitely take down Ysera at this range. That LMG is crazy good. Plus, it has an ACOG if you want to take a long range. So 30 seconds as we count down. Aerowolf are just going to drop this hatch, and they're just going to be cut down by Derpy. Mark my words.
Oh, but a flashbang will make that a lot more difficult. I think your words are being marked. Speakeasy does get traded out, though. Good job from Ethan. This control of cache working so well. He's good for 2. Now, Wildcard still in the numbers disadvantage, but they're fighting back. Where is this objective presence, though? Neofighter doesn't have an impact to use through the floor, but if there's information, he could well go for that floor bang. We've seen Wildcard do it before, but Plank goes down, and suddenly it's a retake for Wildcard.
So that really put Wildcard in a disadvantage, such a strong offside presence. Aerowolf saw the side presence, went for it, and oh, Ysera's going to win that gunfight, and Mentalist is going to put the cap on things. I'm amazed that Wildcard couldn't capitalize on that early pick, that, you know, denial of the thermite charge. That was a surprise, definitely.
Yeah, it was a really good read, though, from Aerowolf. They saw the investment into that cash side from Wildcard. Wildcard was so dedicated to tactically holding on to as much ground as possible, but sometimes the situation gets a little bit complicated and you have to dumb things down, do something simpler. It's like what we were talking about Lunametal. He says sometimes you can't get too hung up on things, you just have to go for the simple ideas. The reason why Wildcard were holding on to cash is so that they can put pressure onto CCTV. The reason they wanted pressure onto CCTV was so that they could use that CCTV window to deny anyone playing on the balcony and gym win master bedroom windows, but no one from Aerowolf was even playing on that balcony at all, pretty much at any point. So that cash presence didn't really matter so much. Aerowolf established a beachhead onto the bomb site by dropping into logistic office and refragging out the wildcard players who were over there, which wasn't actually that many. Even though Ethan made quite a few good picks onto that logistics office and construction side, Aerowolf managed to dodge him and avoid him instead of trying to eliminate him and establish that presence, take over the bomb site, force Wildcard into a retake.
Now, Neofighter, he's going to be opening up a setup into the east stairs. That's very, very standard over here. Cash and CCTV being defended. Yet again from Wildcard, this is their most gym and bedroom being defended once again. This is not really a statistically successful bomb site for them, but, you know, they have been facing ANZ opposition, so we'll see what happens against a team like Aerowolf. They are playing it very, very safe. They're expecting the aggression right away, and that's good. They're bringing drones back to site, so they're playing the information game very, very seriously. They know how much drones are worth, and this is something you might miss out while playing ranked or casual or unranked or whatever you play, because drones in the pro level are pretty much your lifeblood.
Exactly right. Information is always the name of the game at the competitive level. Those drones, the primary method of gaining information for the attacking side. Now here we go. Let's see, can Aerowolf do a better job of denying this bandit trick? Immorin is there, he's ready to go for it, but there's a fear charge, does force him off. Unable to get that bandit battery applied in time. Great job from Aerowolf to get that main wall open. However, there's a lot of utility investment. 2 Thatcher EMPs, as well as that 1 Zofia charge. Immorin's now going to go for this dirt presence. We saw Aerowolf were watching this earlier, but he makes a punch hole likely. Maybe even a bullet hole. No, it's a punch hole. Now he's going to look for anyone on Jacuzzi balcony. I don't believe Aerowolf are exposed to it currently, but they may well watch it later. So Immorin should be very careful. Otherwise, he might get fragged out. He'll just retreat. A smart move, I think.
So you can see immediately Aerowolf have adjusted. They saw that this was where the bandit trick came out successfully from Immorin the previous round. Well, let's go hit the west wall first. And then we can think about the cash and CCTV side. Not sure if they're even going to think about it because Ysera just content to sit here as we tick down to below half the round. And oh, Diesel just un-ADSs at the wrong time. He can't land the shot, but he will get this one. That's a freebie from Mentalist C. Perhaps letting his foot off the pedal a bit too much and exposing his foot. Hysteric's going to take down Neofighter, so it's a 4v4, still balanced as we have 1 minute left to go.
Aerowolf now droning out the situation. They have a lot of information, but there's an aggressive peek from Diesel. Smart move, and Immorin piles on as well. Lunametal goes down. Speakeasy is good for 2. He equalizes the count, and now it looks like Aerowolf may, in fact, be in a position to take that objective away from Wildcard. Speakeasy ready to peek on inside. Hysterics has a lot of angles of which he's exposed to. If he jumps inside, he'll be very much a high target. Deer in the headlights, and there you go. The peek from CCTV comes out. Now it's all up to Speakeasy. He's found 2 so far. He might get the next, but no, Wildcard. Second time's the charm on Bedroom.
Excellently done from Wildcard. They made the adjustments as well. They made sure that the side presence wasn't light enough so that when Aerowolf did go for the early opening on the west wall, they realized, well, we can't make this push work again the same way because Wildcard are holding this a lot harder than they were the previous time. And now, obviously, the roam from the Jaeger was brilliantly done. This time, when the balcony presence came out from Aerowolf, they were duly punished, just as Wildcard wanted it to.
Yeah, one of the things that really stuck out to me was that logistics office control. The previous round, Aerowolf dropped down with flashbangs and refragged it out onto the Maestro and other players, establishing that control of logistics, and that was really what helped Aerowolf take away the objective from Wildcard in the previous round. This time they struggled, despite really good shots from Speakeasy on the Jacuzzi side. It wasn't quite enough to get players from Aerowolf in a position ready to plant, mainly because Hysterics was really exposed on that balcony side. Nonetheless, Wildcard, it's not fantastic here so far. It did take them 2 goes on Bedroom. They still haven't successfully won Church downstairs, but Cash is now unlocked again. This will be the last time they can take this primary bomb site during their defensive half. So they'll defend here. If they win this, they'll have to opt to go back to Church downstairs. We'll see whether they can be as successful there. But for Aerowolf, it looks like they've started to key into what Wildcard are doing, playing aggressive like that. Aerowolf are ready to punish, but are they ready for this angle?
I don't think they are, but it's a very tight angle. You don't have much time before the operator on your screen just walks by, and Derpe, you need some superhuman reflexes to nail that, or a really long pre-fire. He's gonna go default back onto the top catwalk. We previously saw Aerowolf bringing the Capital. It wasn't very effective from Lunar Metal, and now he's just content to play just the smokes with the Jackal, and he's going to see this Kaid pressuring in. He knows someone's in the bathroom as well, but his drone may have just missed Diesel, and that could be huge for this round.
This presence trying to push in, clear out these roamers. There's 2 of them right now on the Bedroom side, one in connector as well. Diesel got a very long angle. This TCS G12 is a great weapon for it, but Hysterics on the peak, he gets 2. Tempted refrags from Wildcard, but it's all a collapse for Aerowolf. Derp, what have you got to show for us? Because there's 5 angry Singaporean players ready to peek onto you. They're not even going to play it smart. They'll just come in and take what's yours. Hysterics pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, his hand was hurting, clutching that mouse, getting that 4-piece right there. I did not expect Diesel to be losing that gunfight by any means. He had that under lock and key, and the pre-fire was inch perfect. He even got the second. So this is, something from Aerowolf that we saw yesterday against Fnatic. We remember that Villa round where Rizraz almost pulled off the 1v4 for the ace, and they were just peeking and peeking and peeking in an attempt for the refrag. And I think that's what was happening with Wildcard as well. They're like, hey, this guy's on rappel, let's get him.
Yeah, it's Wildcard trying to play really aggressive. They're trying to take the fight to Aerowolf. We saw that even from that attempted spawn peek. At the start, it wasn't a super hard committed spawn peek, but Wildcard, very first round, it worked well because they got a lot of early picks through off Aerowolf. As soon as Aerowolf started to read into Wildcard playing more aggressive, they realized, okay, what we can actually do is just repel or take an angle that we think we're an advantage on. We have the ACOG, whatever it is. We have better weapons on long range because we are the attackers, of course. Got those assault rifles to help you out. And Wildcard, just wait for them. If Aerowolf take these advantageous angles, Wildcard, they're desperate for picks. They want to start these rounds off in an advantage. They're going for those picks, making these aggressive plays, and they're feeding Aerowolf. As soon as they lost that initial gunfight, Wildcard says, okay, our aggression got punished. Now we need to try to go for a refrag. Get that refrag, get that player back, because then at least we won't be at a deficit. And that's a bit of a problem. Aerowolf have Wildcard's number right now. We need to see Wildcard change up their play style if they are to even up this half and go up with 3 into their attack.
Maybe a default back to the normal playstyle would serve them well. These aren't inventive strategies that we've seen from Wildcard, as Mental is going to punish Neofighter, who's still sitting on a donut, and he will until the end of this half. And
this is a rush.
Piling in, it's a rush. Derpe goes down on side as well. Diesel needs to return immediately. Lunamelt is droning them all in. Emorin trades one back, but the plant is going down already from Ysera. Already, Hysterics, he's inside of dirt, he's holding the angle, and Diesel is going to get punished for that. The plant goes down successfully. Hysterics takes on one more. It's a 4v2, 4v1.
Just Emorin left, and he doesn't last long. Very, very nice read. I said that they've got Wildcard's number, and absolutely they do. Nothing that Wildcard could do that round. Aerowolf said, hey, you want to play aggressive? I'll give you aggressive.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, previously teams used to think Aerowolf were an aggressive team because, in Southeast Asia, that's how they played, because the teams that they face against, well, they're not exactly the most strat-heavy teams, in previous seasons. Now they're getting more and more strat-heavy as time passes. But Previously, they just used to do the same thing, just run out, peak aggressively, take the gunfights, win them. And then people are like, hey, Aerowolf's a very aggressive team. But then when they come to APAC finals, things change. And
when you're playing against Japanese teams, it's kind of hard to play super aggressive. Yeah, when you're going up against those crazy Japanese teams and other ones like Xavier as well. I guess, you know, we talked about how Aerowolf used to struggle with the aggression. And that was the thing that Aerowolf always found, and that's why they came in second seed here, because some of those some of those Southeast Asian teams, including Xavier, had that aggressive playstyle that Aerowolf struggled to play against. Wildcard coming through their half of the bracket, that's exactly what they've been playing against. They had a match against Xavier, and then a match against Cyclops, two of the most aggressive teams in the APAC region itself, two of the least methodical, strat-heavy teams. And now Wildcard have decided, okay, we're going to adapt our play style. We're going to play for this aggressive style, see if we can keep Aerowolf on the back foot. It did give them one round, but Aerowolf have absolutely read into that, and now in the advantage. 2 rounds on the defensive half isn't fantastic for Wildcard. It's definitely salvageable, but we'll have to see them step up their game.
Now Speakeasy, he's getting aggressive himself, wearing the beautiful robe skin as well as the weapon skin. Ysera has put it's all very default strategies really from Aerowolf and Wildcard. It's just that Aerowolf seemingly more comfortable with these default strategies. You put one Evil Eye somewhere on the stairs, you put the Maestro up on catwalk, get him to hold it, whereas the attack opens the garage wall and push in the frag grenades and what have you, not to dislodge that catwalk player, while at the same time you're trying to get a pinch on the catwalk player by opening up this wall. Hysteric's going to try that bandit trick again. I don't think it's going to work any better than it did against against Fnatic.
Yeah, I believe it actually did work. Is that just one charge left remaining for Diesel? Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, the wall is open.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So the wall is closed and there's only one exothermic charge left. So that was, in fact, tricked.
Ooh.
Really clever stuff from Aerowolf. And I think that was actually mainly taking a look at that barricade on that doorway next to where the bandit is residing. It prevented that Zephyr charge from having effect onto the bandit, but nonetheless, Wildcard with that on the back foot, they're deciding to get aggressive and try to take Garage. You can't force this issue though, because Aerowolf's ready to receive. 2 players left for Wildcard on their first attack, and they're falling apart. All on Diesel. He couldn't even get the wall open. He can't do anything else either. 5-2 now for our Singaporeans.
If this pattern keeps up, right, we might just see Aerowolf destroy everyone else but Fnatic this weekend and that. Can you believe that? Of course, Fnatic are fantastic teams, but so are Wildcard. Clearly they are, because they've made it to Tokonami and Montreal after that. Second defense coming out, it's going to be Gym Bedroom. So just want to make a quick note that Aerowolf right now, they are coming off an insane high. Look who they beat. They beat Fnatic, the Boogeyman, then they beat Norarengo, made it to an international event, qualifying for one after almost 3 years. Allied Esports Minor, they were invited, of course. And Wildcard, on the other hand, must be feeling pretty tired. That was an exhausting series against Cyclops Athlete Gaming. They had to be at the A game mentally and, of course, physically as well. Neophyter's really not having a good time this series so far, while Hysterics is just shredding everyone.
Aerowolf as a whole, they seem to be ready to adapt to anything that Wildcard has to offer. A Wildcard, we talk about them being that methodical team. They don't make those crucial mistakes when it comes to using utility, when it comes to droning. These fundamentals of Rainbow Six, that is what Wildcard do best. Now that said, the thing that really, with the linchpin that caused Wildcard to lose that previous round was one of those fundamentals. It was opening up a wall with the Thatcher Thermite and Zephyr trick. Aerowolf, I believe it was just that simple barricade that prevented the Zephyr charge from working. So these minor details causing an entire round loss for Wildcard, because as soon as something goes wrong, it goes terribly wrong. I'll have to really fix that.
It's funny, we keep on talking about minor details in the context of Aerowolf, but it's minor details going in their favor. That's new.
It's Rainbow Six as a whole. One tiny mistake can mean everything for the team, and it's why these professional players have to have such an attention to detail. They have to get everything right.
So now this kite hole inside of CCTV, inside of Cache actually, is just so very, very important. This is where the beachhead is established by Aerowolf, by any defense, really. And it's very, very important that the kite is the one playing in here, because look at what he has, the utility. He has a DMR for the short range engagements. He has a ACOG on that as well for the long range if he wants to. The pistol is decent at short range, and we've seen some good kills come out from it. But more importantly is the impact grenades and the electro claws. They can do kite tricks and impact tricks together, and one lone kite can hold off an entire push.
Yeah, that Cade, Ysera, his job is just to hold on to that Cache side, but that's not where the focus is for Wildcard right now. Similar to Aerowolf, they are seeming to ignore it and go primarily for this Jacuzzi side. There will likely be that bandit. Okay, no, in fact, Hysterix is... Okay, the wall's open from the Hibana pellets. No thermite to open that up. So there should only be one set of Hibana pellets left. Not likely they'll try to use that on that bathroom wall, because Hysterix can easily bandit trick that one. Capitao bolts ringing out. Not quite sure what the play is for Wildcard. That could be a Kobe of a C4, but it doesn't work. Lunametal trying to put this pressure onto the Jacuzzi balcony, but Wildcard aren't giving him anything right now, so he retreats back. For Wildcard, they're the ones that need to make the next move, and two players have been taken incredibly low. Hysterix inside bathroom, took a bit of damage, but that's the last Capitao bolt gone.
That was so close from Speakeasy, and very close for the Wildcard player. I think it was Diesel almost losing his head. He's already on low HP, as you noted, and the frag grenades are going to sail out, likely to kill Hysterix right now. He's on, no, there's an ADS, it's right in front of you. You should have shot it early on. Neophyter, he can't get the kill onto this Evil Eye, but Diesel gets the kill onto Ysera to start the fragging. There's a long run out from Lunametal. He's going to down the diffuser, and Hysterix going to take one more. This is insane stuff from him.
3 versus 3 though, so the numbers are even on the objective. It's time for Wildcard to get aggressive. Dirtbait, they've known for so long this pesky bandit inside a bathroom. Will they won't get one? No, he finds the first kill. Hysterix has been on fire, but he does get refragged. Surely a flashbang will prevent Mentalist from making this work. Dirtbear so low on HP, and Emorin has to plant. There's no time, and Wildcard, they just go for frags, and they make it work.
Lack of information from Aerowolf at the very, very end. They were peeking because they thought the diffuser was going down. They really didn't need to if they had known that the plant would not be going down, actually. But the Valkyrie camera is clearly focusing on the push elsewhere and not on the site execute itself. That's usually the case, though.
Yeah, so we see usually it's the Maestro cameras for that site information, and we see... Honestly, it was just well played from Wildcard. Like, they did remove those Maestro cameras on the objective, so Aerowolf didn't have that information when it was that tight scenario where Aerowolf had lost the objective. They had to retake. They didn't have information. They didn't know where the Wildcard players were, and they needed to make something happen.
And we are receiving information that this is Wildcard's tactical pause. In fact, the previous one on round 2 was Aerowolf's, which is still weird for the round 2 tac pause.
It worked though, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
They went from 1-1 to 5-2. So
right,
that's pretty good.
Now Wildcard takes a tac pause after a win. I'm not quite following the pattern here.
Yeah. The thing is for Wildcard here that makes it a bit confusing to me is that they don't know what bomb site they're going to be attacking next. Yeah. So they can't be talking about specific strategies or operators for a certain bomb site. However, they can continue talking about fundamentals. For example, they could say, guys, that was a really messy round, but we did well in the end. What we need to do is more of that where we just push in and refrag it out when Aerowolf don't have a large presence, because that's what got Wildcard the win in that previous round. In my opinion, it was a huge part of it. There are a lot of tiny factors that add up, but Wildcard's ability to simply say, okay, let's go. We have a slight opening. It's not much, but if we brute force it enough, we can make it work. Let's send multiple players through. Let's refrag it out. If they pull that together, start to do it in more of these attacks, they can certainly make a comeback here.
That's a very nice drone. It can look down all the way down east stairs, as well as anyone trying to play inside of garage or on the catwalk. Now Aerowolf now going down to the basement. They have brought out the clash once again. Now we saw real success from Aerowolf on this clash yesterday against Fnatic, although it wasn't on the basement bomb site. Nevertheless, Ysera is a very, very fearsome Clash. And let's see what he can do here on the basement against Wildcard. It's not going to be easy for Wildcard, but they have the Zofia concussion grenades, and those are going to be key in dislodging whatever Ysera wants to do.
It's like what we said with Aerowolf Fnatic. You can ban one shield on the attack, the Monsane, but Aerowolf are just as good with that Clash on defense. Especially on this map, it was this very map where Aerowolf took that victory over Fnatic using that Clash on the match points. Really, Aerowolf certainly good with these shield operators, that relaying of information, the way that they play around each other works so well. Wildcard will have to deal with that. They do have the Zofia and the Capitao, two very effective counters to that Clash. We'll see how it gets utilized. Looks like for now, Ysera's presence is to hold on to the Moto as long as possible. I believe they're hoping that they can K-trick this hatch for as much as possible, and in theory this really should be easily countered. Neofighter just has to invest 2 EMP grenades, throw one down, get the Hibana pellets on, and then chuck the second one down. That's all you need to do.
Not sure what the holdup is right now from them. They're going to send one more down, and yeah, second EMP, there we go. No kite trick was forthcoming anyway, because as you said, this is a very hard hatch to kite trick and usually not really worthwhile. What Speakeasy would want to hold on to is a church wall. That could really put a dent in Wildcard's plans if they want to take this bomb site easily and effectively, because usually the motor drop is what you push in from, and Ysera is going to be holding that to his dying breath.
Another thing to point out, that Clash is all about denying these choke points. When there is a choke point, denying access from the attackers. Now Wildcard, they only have the one hard breacher. Mavericks banned, they didn't bring the thermite, so there's going to be even more of those choke points as they can't open some more of these essential entryways.
Now Ethan is going to prep a frag grenade after the ADS was burned by Diesel. So good teamwork. Emorin finally gets the first frag for his team. Hysteris goes down, but immediately refrag. Neofighter still can't find a kill. And he's going to go down to Lunar Metal, who is very low himself, but Speakeasy's got a beautiful long angle right now. He's going to fall off it because it's easily pre-fireable. Mentalist dies to Emorin, and that's a huge one.
Sometimes when chips are down for Wildcard, Emorin steps up and does something big. Now he's on the floor and taken out, but he did find 2 kills to drag down with him. And one of those players left remaining for Aerowolf is the shield, so one less weapon up, ready to take these fights. Also one player very lit up. Wildcard, this is your moment. You have to make a move. 5-3, they make a full rotate through blue. Can they find that first player? They can't spot him out. There's no time. He needs to make an entrance, but Wildcard are on the back foot. And Aerowolf lock out that basement defense and are on to match points.
Speakeasy got at least 2 at the end there. Or was it 3? It was all 3, I think. 2 with the DM, 1 with the pistol. That is amazing stuff from Speakeasy. All weekend long, he has been killing people left, right, and center. He did it to Fnatic. He was the equal for Virtuan. And I would say much of the reason why Aerowolf were not run over by the power that comes with a Riz-Raz on land and a Virtue on land. Now, he did a lot of work against Norengo, of course, but that was the whole team, really. And now he's stepping it up against Wildcard, who just looked a bit tired, really.
Wildcard have been playing for quite a long time now. They did have that match against Cyclops, which only went to 2 maps, fortunately for them, but it was full regulation, 12 rounds on the second map, and it was overtime, 8-6 on the first map. So that's a long time that they have been sitting in these chairs playing. They only got a relatively short break before this one started. Aerowolf, they've had a pretty chill morning, actually. They did have that really tough, not so tough game against Norengo 7-1-7-2 in the morning. Had a bit of a rest, had some lunch, chilled out, watched some Wildcard and Cyclops play each other, and then they come back. They've had plenty of time to prepare. They come up against this Wildcard in the grand final. They look to be doing very well. Wildcard, what is it that we need to see from them? Because it's a long road ahead, 3 rounds to take us to OT.
Well, they just need to get basically their senses together. It is very, very tiring, but you know, diamonds are forged in extreme pressure. Carbon turns to beautiful, glittering, glassy diamond. That's what they have to do, really just collect themselves.
I'm not quite sure about how Wildcard will take this top floor, as last time everything fell apart when they failed to open up that main wall with the Thermite. Now they opted to only bring the one hard breach of the previous 2 rounds, which is a real question mark for me. But now they have that Thermite, they're ready to get this this main church wall open, CCTV wall open. However, last time that Zofia trick did not work. Will they have to try something different? They didn't bring the Capitao, so that's how Aerowolf countered this bandit trick. Wildcard, maybe it's not going to work for them. Zofia ready, but I don't know if it'll work this time.
Lunamel pulled off a crazy run out last time they defended this as well. So Wildcard are going to be very, very wary of that. The camera is still there. It's a fairly default camera, and I'm not too sure what Wildcard are not doing, bringing an IQ.
There's just so many operators you need to bring on Clubhouse, man. Like, try and think about trying to get this main wall open. You need Zofia, Thatcher, and Thermite. And then you probably need a Hibana if you want to get anything else open. And then Buck for nades and vertical, potentially if you want it. So it's so hard. Like, they didn't even bring a Capitao. It's such a hard operator selection process on a bomb site like this.
Now they're going to try for the bandit trick again. The barricade that you talked about being so imperative, it might just work out yet again. They might have to send through.
Oh, no, barricade's gone now. Next to Mentalist, he destroyed it on the defense.
Is he going to put it back? No, he
I'm not sure. Like,
yeah,
there
we go.
you go. They could even throw one of Buck's grenades in to destroy that barricade and then use the Zofia charges, but things are getting too late at the moment. In fact, they could probably use one of Zofia's explosive charges. Imarin, though, he starts it off with a bang, getting that nice headshot onto Lunametal. The captain, he'll have to sit back and make call-outs from here on out. Hysterics goes for that C4 out onto the window, but it doesn't find anything. Now, this is when we need to see this work out. That Zofia trick, it does work, but it's just too late. It does affect the bandit, but the timing was not there. Wildcard, they're the team that don't make these mistakes, and they've just plummeted here.
It's really, I would say, the stamina eluding Wildcard Gaming right now, and now they have to push through this doorway. It's very, very tight. Speakeasy made it work the last time. I think he got a 2K or a 3K. Now worming his way to the doorway, trying to take down that evil eye. Is going to be successful. That I can't tell who it is. Hysterics, he's going to take down Ethan, though.
Nice.
Speakeasy loses that gunfight. Nearfight finally gets himself a kill. So even if they lose this, it won't be too bad.
20 seconds left, and Aerowolf do still have this garage presence, but what a kill! 2, in fact, from Dirtbear. It's all mental now. He's the last one left. He just needs to deny the plant, but no, they go and they push for the kill. A smart choice. Wildcard are still in this game on Clubhouse, 6-4.
Mind you, they made a 6-3 comeback happen against CAG just now over on Bank, and they pulled off a crazy 5 rounds in a row to make it 8-6 in their favor. So definitely do not count Wildcard out. And with Aerowolf's much talked about propensity to throw rounds again and again, we might just see this go another 8-6 in Wildcard's favor, you think?
Honestly, I was so surprised that Wildcard pulled that rabbit out of the hat. That round looked done and dusted for Aerowolf. I really like this, just strategically, they have one leg up on that particular CCTV wall, trying to thermite it open, trying to use a Zofia. Aerowolf do that better than Wildcard do. Wildcard consistently relying on that Zofia charge, and it simply does not work the way that Aerowolf are doing it. With that barricade there, it seems to hard counter Wildcard's strategy. And I think that's why Aerowolf we see consistently countering the bandit trick using a Capitao. Now we have a look, and it is a cash defense once again for Aerowolf. However, Wildcard are bringing the Capitao. A nice little adaptation. They're not even bringing the Zofia. So Imarin, he was simply said, okay, the Zofia's not cutting it. Now you have to play the Capitao. One thing you do have to worry about, though, is you can get quite exposed using that crossbow, trying to get into a position to place that Capitao bolt. You also have to make sure that the firebolt lands in a place where it will completely cover all of the areas the bandit can get the trick off from. Because if you slightly miss and there's a tiny pocket where the bandit can sit, it costs you a thermite charge and potentially the round.
Now, usually when the reason Maverick is unbanned is because Maverick can help out immensely in this regard.
Maverick just like turns this, and
Yeah.
all of this complicated situation, Maverick just says, never mind.
Yeah, because what you do with the Maverick is you create a tiny little hole or a line inside of one of the garage panels, and then you shoot your firebolt through those holes, and he's going to hit right at the wall the bandit wants to bandit
or
trick.
you could just use a Maverick on the main wall anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's true, that too. But, like, you know, that's usually more effective in securing a kill, because if the bandit wants to play it, he won't know the firebolt is coming until it might just be too late.
Yeah, anyhow, this is a cash defense, once again, as we said, for Aerowolf, and they haven't really changed much. Still Speakeasy on Jaeger here in Garage, and he wants to take these gunfights. Wildcard, it's Ethan opening up the wall, and that baits Speakeasy into a rotate, being cut off from Neofighter. Great job getting him in the game, and Hysterics does detonate that Nitro cell on the window, but the player out there is far further away and not affected at all. Dirtbed for another kill. This looks like the comeback train's en route.
It definitely is. It's left the station and it's steaming ahead. And right now, Ysera is struggling right now to kill the drones, really. And the wall is going to get opened up very easy for Diesel, and they have so much time to work with. A 5v3 man advantage. Now, of course, Ysera was the one to clutch out the 1v2 against Fnatic to win the series yesterday. And this is going to be a nice little battle. Mentalist he's going to see the gun, and he can't land the shots. He will down him. Very, very lucky, I would say, in some regards. And two players on Catwalk. Ysera's going to be receiving this push. He's going to take down one, but immediately traded back. Very, very important for Wildcard. What can they do?
Oh, no! Could this even be another one? Luna Metal, the flank from Garage. He finds one all out of bullets up to the Deagle, but he does find that lost there. Mentalist gets that refrag. 1 versus 1. Diesel, where is the information on the bomb site? Is Mental? No. No, he has to find it. He gets the wall bang, the floor bang, but it's not in time. Diffuser goes down. Both players so low on HP. Mental has to retake this with the SMG-11.
If only Mentalist had been a bit quicker with his decision-making. And Diesel, he still has one more charge. He's going to blow the wall over here as he tries to get pushed to the throne. And Mentalist, see, he's going to win this out and win the round and the map for Aerowolf. They're going to take Clubhouse 7-4.
Plenty of time for the defuse animation to come out, disable that. Mentalist, a 1 versus 1 to win the map. I don't think we could have asked for anything better.
Yeah, and honestly, who better to do it than Mentalist C, the young man who thought this was going to be his final land. Many thought he was not going to appear in Tokonami or at Montreal. Well, now he has a lot more decisions to make.
Oh, yeah, he's got a lot of thinking to do, this guy, and I think for the rest of Aerowolf, there's a lot of thinking to be done as well. Just the same as for us here on the desk. Aerowolf going up 1-0 against Wildcard. I mean, not altogether surprising result, given that is Aerowolf's map choice. 7-4, it's a pretty solid victory, but it really does seem so. Wildcard are the kind of team that like to leave these things to the 11th hour. They took a long time to get involved in that map of Bank against CAG, and even there on Clubhouse, they were down quite heavily, starting to make some comebacks happen, but they're not able to finish things off this time. Is that a big problem for them, you know, letting things go too early?
This is Wildcard, how they've played for such a long time. They're an incredibly methodical team, but when they often end up pushing at those last moments, and it enables the opponents to find a way to capitalize upon that. I really liked what we saw at the start. Wildcard said, let's play hyper-aggressive. Aerowolf fully came into and countered Wildcard's playstyle, and that's one of the things that's really struggled for Wildcard right now. They're being read like a book.
So, well, I did say to make this comment that the IGL for Aerowolf is a university student, economics, so he does know how to read pretty well. But one thing I also wanted to note that Aerowolf over here, what they did yesterday, they lost so many rounds on the comeback train against Fnatic. That would have been a big learning opportunity for them. They must have gone back and thought, well, why did we lose so many rounds in a row, and what can we do to arrest that slide if it happens again? And they know it's going to happen again because teams are just as good as they are.
Yeah, certainly, and for Aerowolf, they're really now one step away from taking first seed out of the APAC finals. Do you start counting your chickens in Fien, or we're not there yet?
I mean, not there yet. We do have some exciting matchups on offer, but Wildcard, look, these guys, if they recuperate, take some time off, you know, calm themselves down, they might still get it. Maybe still 3 maps.
It was Aerowolf's map pick, so next up's Bank. I think that it was a good showing from Wildcard. It's just looking like they've been playing Rainbow Six for about 6 hours and are starting to get a bit tired. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, for Wildcard, there is obviously that saving grace that they're going to go back into bank here. But I can't help but look at the results today from Aerowolf and think they've had a really, really clean run. 7-1 on Border against Norarengo. 7-2 on Villa, again against Norarengo. And then a 7-4 here against Wildcard in that first map as well. So they haven't really had to work too hard today. I mean, I don't want to undersell their efforts, that's for sure. But the results that they have had so far have been very clean. And there's no real reason, I don't think, to expect that that should change anytime soon.
No, it's a hard call to make. If you wanted to try to say Wildcard is on the comeback train, I don't know, at least they'll be on home turf. They'll be playing Bank. It was very close that they won Bank against Cyclops. In fact, it almost slipped away, just skin of their teeth. The thing that really makes me worried at the moment for Wildcard isn't just the fact that Aerowolf's in top form. It's the fact that Aerowolf was watching Cyclops versus Wildcard on Bank all afternoon. They were preparing for that, taking notes, they were chilling out, and now they're going into Bank, a map that they just saw Wildcard play. There is no way that Wildcard has had enough time to say, okay guys, let's just rework all of our Bank strats. No. Wildcard, everything you've put out there is on for show, and Aerowolf knows about it.
Well, it certainly is a scary prospect then ahead for Wildcard, but for Aerowolf, we'll see how much their preparation is going to pay off. It's time for us to take a break, but perhaps the final map of this weekend is coming up after this.